Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And finally this week we are getting the release of Resident Evil Requiem. So continuing my movie review series of the Resident Evil franchise, here are my thoughts on Resident Evil Afterlife. Can't even speak. So starting off with my positives on Resident Evil Afterlife is the one thing I really liked about this movie is I really liked the whole setting in the prison. It reminded me a lot of Dawn of the Dead, like the mall setting in both versions. That reminded me a lot of Dawn of the Dead, which this franchise has taken a lot of inspiration from, which I'll talk about Dawn of the Dead a lot more in my next review of the Resident Evil movies. But I really thought the prison setting was cool. Prison setting. Jesus, I can't speak today. The prison setting in this movie I really liked. I really thought it was interesting and it really kind of had that horror atmosphere to it, where it's just like, oh, you're trapped in this one area where you think you're safe from because it's in a big building. You're in where the whole outside is infected, but on the inside there's like nobody in there. But then they slowly start to go in there. It reminded me a lot of Dawn of the Dead. It reminded me a lot of the moments like that. And Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite zombie movies ever, both remake and original, pick and choose basically for me. So I thought the prison setting was. God, I can't say setting. Why can't I speak? I really thought the setting of this was cool. I really thought it was interesting that they decided to do something like this when this whole franchise has been like really action packed and really like exploring and being adventurous and all that. So to be able to be contained in this one area for this movie was different because in all the other ones they were kind of adventurous. I mean, besides the first one, I guess the first one wasn't contained in that one area, I guess. But for the last two that were like really action packed and adventurous, this one took like a different turn, and I really liked that. And again, sound like a broken record. It reminded me a lot of Dawn of the Dead, so I thought that was definitely interesting. I was just gonna talk about like one simple thing here, but I guess I'll talk about through the whole movie. I really like how this movie really adapted Resident Evil 5 a lot more, which is a game that I've kind of started playing for the first time recently, so I kind of have more knowledge on it and I have more self-awareness on this. But I really like how this movie was adapting Resident Evil 5 because I believe at the time when this movie came out, I'm pretty sure Resident Evil 5 had just come out because it came out a couple years after Resident Evil 4 came out. I could be wrong. I'd have to do a date check. But this movie adapts Resident Evil 5 a lot, and it has like people like Chris Redfield coming in to this movie, which I'll talk about him later. You have Chris Redfield coming into the movie. You have the Las Plagas in here with them opening like their mouths like the Predator kind of, which is from Resident Evil 5. And there's like a lot of aspects from here, like the zombies and the atmosphere and stuff like that, and like some characters here and there. It reminds you a lot of Resident Evil 5, and I don't think it was in this one, or it might have been in the next one where they had like the little red bug on their chest. I actually Claire had it, so I was technically right. Where when we first get introduced to Claire once again into this movie, she has like that little red bug on her chest, which Jill has in Resident Evil 5 and in the next movie. So this movie really decides to adapt Resident Evil 5, and for someone who really enjoys that game, I'm really glad that they did that. You even got Wesker coming in here. There's a lot of things in this movie that take things from Resident Evil 5, and again, I don't know if it was because Resident Evil 5 had just come out, or maybe that's just something they decided to do. I don't really know. But with the introducing the Las Plagas, which I thought was really cool, I thought they did a pretty decent job of bringing them to life with having their mouths open up. Which the CGI in these movies have never been the best, but I do think that the Las Plagas' mouths look pretty decent in this movie. And then seeing Wesker come in, there's like a lot of cool scenes with him where he like throws his glasses at the camera like he does in 5 or whatever. Like there's just a lot of moments where Wesker literally just recreates scenes from 5, which I thought was just really cool. So I thought they did a pretty good job adapting it. Now they've never really done a good job of adapting like a singular game besides Apocalypse, which adapts Resident Evil 3. So I thought that I really liked how they did that. It was definitely interesting, and not a lot of people like that game, but maybe not a lot of people like that game, but I do. So maybe that just renders with me only, but I don't know. But I really thought that was cool. I thought the new zombies were the Lost Plagas looked really cool. So yeah, for someone that really enjoys Resident Evil 5, it was just cool to see some of that stuff in here. And it continues in the next movie, but doesn't do it as well. Do it to it. But now moving on to my mixed aspects, and I talk about them adapting Resident Evil 5 pretty well. The one thing I am mixed on is bringing in these new characters like Chris and Wesker. Now, Chris, I think that he is one of the coolest characters in the franchise. You can arguably say that he is kind of the face of Resident Evil. Something just fell in my room. I don't know what that was. But he's kind of like the face of Resident Evil besides Leon. But because for me, the face of Resident Evil is Leon. But in the games, they kind of make it Chris. So to him to come into the franchise finally is cool. But I don't really like the person that they chose for him. I like his actor because he's in Prison Break, and I enjoy Prison Break, but I don't remember his actor's name right now. But I don't really think he was the right choice for Chris because he doesn't really resemble Chris. He just resembles like this Adrian Brody type character, like from Predators, where he tries to does his Batman voice. He goes, "You must be the person that landed the plane." Like he has like this weird deep voice. I'm like, that doesn't say Chris. He doesn't have like that smart ass attitude to him. He doesn't have like that cool badassery like he does. It just didn't say Chris to me. Like, sure, he does a decent enough job. It's cool to see him in here. It's cool to see him have some scenes and do some badass moments, but it just wasn't Chris for me. And other things like Wesker. I think that Wesker is cool in this movie. I actually like Wesker, but he is so corny in this movie. It's so weird, like the way he talks. It's just like, it's so weird. Now, I kind of get it with the corniness that this franchise is kind of gone for now. So, because maybe the corniness of Wesker worked for me more because that's what this franchise kind of became. My lights are dying. I don't like that. But oh, magic trick. Um, but Wesker's corniness kind of worked for me more because that's what the franchise is going for at this point. But it's some of his line delivery and the acting from the actor. It is so odd and so weird to where it's really distracting. Now I think they adapt him pretty well, if you ask me. I think that his scenes in this are a lot better than that little small ass role that he has in 3 with some guy that they probably picked out of the some guy from the production office just to play him because he literally does nothing. He just sits in an office. But in this movie, he actually does stuff. With Chris, so introducing those characters was cool, but some of them I felt like were corny or they just didn't end up working all that well. But I did like Wesker for what he is. But now moving on to my negatives, and a lot of these movies do this, and I think this might be the first one where they do this. They basically just say, fuck the last one. And that's what this one does, because you know how I was talking about in Extinction, where the whole world had turned to dust, it's completely apocalyptic, and because the T virus or whatever, it spread through the entire world within 5 years after all is in just one country and one state and all that stuff. But now, oh, it's apocalyptic, it's turned into dust, the whole world's gone, there's no buildings, and all of a sudden, it's just not dust anymore in this movie.
The earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
It's just buildings falling over, and the world's just kind of ash, there's buildings standing, and there's just no dust. The world isn't apocalyptic anymore. And mind you, all of these movies are written by the same guy, too, so... Where'd the dust go, Paul? What happened there? Did just God just shower down some rain and then it's just like, oh, never mind, the dust is it's not there anymore. It's just ash and buildings are falling over and things are on fire. Ugh. And they continue the same story. It's just like, oh, we're trying to get to Antarctica for this boat or whatever or this safe place, basically. They continue that, but there's no dust. What happened to the sand? What happened to the completely apocalyptic world? What happened to that? I'm waiting for an answer because they don't fucking explain it. And good God, man, these movies have always been known for their action. Like it's been a very action-packed franchise. Like, oh, it's because this is at the kind of the point where Resident Evil decided to go full like action horror besides going horror survival, which I kind of enjoy. And so this franchise kind of adapts that, but good God, man, this franchise has been known for its action, but the action in this movie sucks. Because the action in this movie takes so much slow motion. Literally, there's a part where they're fighting off that big axe guy, where they're fighting him in the bathroom. It's Claire and Alice. I almost said Jill for some reason. It's Claire and it's Alice, and they're fighting them, but it's completely in slow motion, where Claire's literally
I'm gonna execute a button hook pattern super slow mo.
it's so stupid. You know that scene from Ace Ventura where he's just like, "What's that? It's a replay," and he's just running in slow motion. That's literally this whole action sequence in this movie. And then there's like other moments, like when they're fighting Wesker and all these Lost Plagas, and then it's just Alice shooting off her shotgun and she's killing Wesker, and oh, it's super badass because it's in slow motion. But good God, I guarantee you, if these action sequences were sped up and not in slow motion, this movie would probably be 10 minutes shorter. I am not even joking because, good God, they drag out those action sequences with the slow motion to where it is distracting, it is boring. I literally was looking at my watch the whole time I was watching it to be like, how long has this been going on for, dude? I just spit everywhere. That's disgusting. But, it's just, I get it. Slow motion makes everything so epic, so you want to make it everything, but just, good God. One of the things that they decided to, tease at the end of the last one of Extinction, they teased a bunch of Alice clones, and they teamed up. Oh, all the Alice clones, they're gonna team up together, and they're gonna go after Umbrella. They're gonna go after Wesker. They're gonna take him down. They're gonna kill him. Whoa, we're so excited. Which we should probably save that for the last one, but fuck it.
Finest hour! All right, next tape! Hey, wait a minute, what happened? What happens next? Come on, let's see the next episode!
But so you tease that, and you tease like this huge Marvel like thing about to happen with a bunch of houses going after Umbrella and Wesker. You tease that. You you fucking blue ball us with that. And then you get to this movie, oh, that's the opening sequence of the movie. And then we never see the clone houses again. Because why? Oh, Wesker blew them all up and killed them in the opening sequence. That's another thing these movies do. They blue ball you with these cool ideas. They leave you with cliffhangers at each movie. They're like, oh, we're going to do this. Oh, be excited. And then you get to the next movie. It's just like, oh, it's over already.
The earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
Why didn't you wait till the last one? Like, there's a lot of things that they do early in these movies that they should have saved for the final chapter. Like the world being completely apocalyptic, Alice and the clones going after Umbrella and Wesker. All of these things to just be done in 15 minutes. I've been pretty open by saying like, oh, I think it's kind of weird they're doing this Alice clone thing. I don't know how to feel about that. It's kind of weird. Kind of takes away the spotlight from Jill and all them. But it's at least cool and entertaining. And you could have had me like it if you didn't just kill them off within the first 15 minutes of the movie. You could have done something. But overall, guys, I really enjoy Resident Evil Afterlife. It's not a very good movie by any means, but none of these movies really are. But I really enjoyed this movie. I have a lot of nostalgia with this one. This was one of my favorites growing up. I do have my issues, but it's still pretty dumb fun. It has that low B movie type of film to it, and I really enjoy that of this movie. So if you enjoyed the other Resident Evil movies, then I guarantee you'll like this one. If you didn't like Extinction that much, I think this one might change your mind, but don't really get your hopes up about the clone thing. But overall, I really do enjoy this movie, and I do think if you like the other movies, then give this movie at least a shot. So what do you guys think about Resident Evil Afterlife? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Do you think this is better than Extinction? Do you think this is one of the worst of the franchise? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, I'll see you all next time.